next speaker is an expert in lead generation and digital marketing. He co-founded a lead company, scaled it to about 5,000 leads a week, eventually sold his shares so that he could focus 100% on teaching agents. And since then, he's helped agents grow from $50,000 a month in revenue to as much as $250,000 a month in revenue through his expertise in digital marketing. He's the founder of Insurance Advertising Masters, and he's definitely here to give you guys some lessons. Please give me a wonderful, warm welcome for Mr. Justin Thomas.
All right, perfect. The mic is working. Awesome. So, all right, got my clicker. This is not my presentation. What'd you say? I can try it. I could probably deliver this one. Well, you guys are hopefully finding mine. I just want to thank Christian for putting this event on. I think a year ago today, Christian and I had never spoken in person. Like, we didn't know each other. We probably knew of each other, but you have become one of my really good friends in the industry, Christian, and really appreciate events like this because there are a lot of events that go on and happen, but events like this where you bring in people that are only talking about things that are bringing value to the people that bought tickets, it's a special thing. And so, I love that. Perfect. So, as we're waiting for this to come up, what'd you say?
That was a joke.
I do have one thing to say. So I've been sitting in the back of the room, and this is my only second time speaking in front of a crowd. I do a lot of YouTube videos, and my face has probably been seen by 100,000 people, but that's in front of a camera. It's not in front of a crowd. And I was a little bit nervous, and I was just really sitting back there thinking, if you guys can take anything from this presentation today, it's really about your mindset. And Lester just had a heck of a presentation. There was a lot of wisdom in those words there. But when you really switch from, I think a lot of my nervousness came from, what can I get out of this presentation? Can I get content from this presentation? Can I get new clients from this presentation? And when I made it about myself, there was a lot of nervousness. And when I sat back there, I was like, that's stupid. I need to come up here and deliver the most value that I possibly can, regardless of expectations. And when that happened, the nervous just went away. So I'm going to be talking about YouTube ads today. And one of the biggest obstacles you guys will probably face is feeling like, nervousness, putting yourself out there, being on video. And one thing to remember is if you don't do it, you're not going to be able to express your message to the market, and you're going to help one less person by not doing it. So hopefully you guys take something from that. So, all right, are you guys ready to learn some really cool stuff today?
Yeah!
All right. Perfect. So my presentation is on how to crush YouTube ads and leave your tech-resistant competitors in the dust. And the really cool thing about what I'm teaching today is everything that you guys have probably heard so far at this conference does not matter if you do not have a way to express your message to the market. You could be the best salesperson. You could be the best at knowing the products. You could be the best at being able to help people with annuities, whatever it is. But if people don't know you're good at that, if you have no way to express that to the market, then you probably aren't actually that good at it because nobody will ever come to you and you won't be able to share that talent with anybody whatsoever. So being able to build something where you can express what you have, your differentiation, your authority to the market to where they know what you're good at, that's really cool. And you can also build something with what I'm going to teach you today that will become a system and a machine where you can put $1 in and get $3, $4, $5 back. And Josh already asked my question, so he stole it. But if you had a machine where you could put $1 in and get $5 back, how many are you putting in? The answer should be as many as you possibly can. And that is the goal. With being able to run YouTube ads, Facebook ads, paid ads, it's completely scalable. You have full control over what you're doing to the point where if you want to scale up, it's as easy as just putting more money, feeding the machine more. So there are 3 things that you need to be able to crush it with YouTube ads. The first is you need a place to send traffic. The second is you need a high converting video YouTube ad. And then the third thing is you need to send the ad to the right people. And You know, a lot of you may be asking, aren't running ads and paid traffic, isn't that just for big corporate companies? No, the answer is no, not anymore. And running ads is accessible to business owners of any size, individuals, solopreneurs, whatever it may be. And if you don't adapt, I will tell you right now that you will be left in the dust, because there are already people in this room that have adapted, have mastered this. And if you resist it, it's going to be your downfall. So, Tony, thank you for the introduction already. So I'll just go over this really quickly. So my name is Justin Thomas. I'm founder and owner of a company called Insurance Advertising Masters. I also founded a lead company that I no longer own, but we scaled that up to 5,000 leads per week. In my own company, Insurance Advertising Masters, we spend $2,000 a day on just YouTube ads. And we wouldn't be spending that much money and putting that much effort or time into that if it wasn't making money, if it wasn't worth the money or the time. So here's a little hint. If you are seeing somebody's face all over the internet, all over YouTube, they're following you all over, they're probably doing something that's working, otherwise they wouldn't continue to spend money on that. So if you see people like that, especially in the industry, study what they're doing. All right, so why do most people fail at YouTube ads? Well, the first thing is in insurance, I have found that the first reason is most people are afraid to even try. So get that out of your head, put yourselves out there, it's gonna pay off. From there, the other reason is that when people think about ads, paid ads in general, but YouTube ads as well, they think that 80% of the results come from what's up there in the blue. They think that it's targeting, it's the buttons and the levers that get pressed inside the ad algorithms, the platforms, all of that stuff. But the fact is that is only responsible for 20% of the results. 80% of the results come from where you send the traffic, your messaging, your offer, how you're positioning yourself, and the creative, which really encompasses messaging. And so a lot of people will think that they can just outsource and they'll either buy leads or they'll outsource this part to another company. But the problem is that when you're buying leads, one, you're not expressing your message to the market whatsoever. You're just getting people that are interested in a product. They're not interested in you and what you can specifically do. And if you outsource this to an agency completely, to the point where you're outsourcing your messaging and everything, they most of the time are not going to be able to encompass your voice, your message, and what's different about you, which is extremely important when it comes to business in general. All right, so today, though, we are not going to focus on the 80. We're going to focus on the 20%. And the reason why I'm doing that is because the 80% of what I just talked about, the messaging, understanding, your offer, positioning yourself, making yourselves different from everybody else, that's what gets you off the ground and gets your business launched. And the 20% is where you focus if you want to widen the gap between you and everybody else. And all of you here today have paid money to be here. You are all experienced agents, and a lot of what's been talked about already is going to be in that 80%. So I'm not going to focus on that because I know you're all capable of coming up with that yourself. But I'm going to focus on, once you get that in place, how we can widen the gap between you and any of your competitors that are resisting learning this types of stuff. Took a drink of water, Josh. Because humans drink water and robots don't. All right, so number one, we need to find a place to send the traffic. So what is traffic? Traffic is just the flow of humans on the internet. It's clicks. It's directing the people that are on the internet. So people that are watching YouTube, people that are going on blogs, whatever they're doing, that is traffic. And it doesn't have to be on the internet. It can also be, traffic can be in person as well too. But it's just a flow of human behavior. And we want to be able to direct the traffic, but in order to do that, it takes influence. You can't just expect people to do what you say because you tell them to do it. You have to influence them to be able to do it. And when I talk about a place to send the traffic, once you have a YouTube ad, or once you capture somebody's attention, you have to do something with that attention. If you just capture somebody's attention and you waste it, then you're wasting your money. You have to have a place to direct it to. And when you're running Facebook ads, so here, the three main places you could send it are a landing page, a funnel, or native lead forms. And really at this point, there's not native lead forms on YouTube, which is why this is extremely important for YouTube ads. There are native lead forms on Facebook, and that's probably what most of you have encountered when you hear Facebook leads or internet leads or somebody's doing Facebook ads, people are like, Facebook ads suck, they're probably only talking about Facebook lead ads. And what Facebook lead ads are, so I'll just explain this. So Facebook made a really easy way for people to generate leads. They create this form that doesn't leave the Facebook platform. So you don't have to build a landing page, you don't have to do anything like that. But because Facebook has literally every ounce of data on every single person, they probably know exactly where you are right now, what your brother's name, what your sister's name is. They have all the data. Because of that, when you do a Facebook lead form, your prospect, they click, and then their information is immediately auto-populated. So they're gonna click and it's gonna be an ad to like get a quote or something like that. But immediately once they click, it's gonna say first name, their first name's already gonna be in there. Justin's gonna be in there. Last name, Thomas is gonna be in there. Email, your email's already in there. Your phone number's already in there. It's already auto-populated. So then the next step from there is they click submit. That entire process takes 1 to 2 seconds, 5 seconds maybe. Because of that, there's no emotion. There's nothing that causes them to actually remember that happening. So when you call leads and they're like, I didn't fill that out, they actually may not remember doing it if it's from this because it was such a small and short process. And so that's why when you get this way, it still can generate okay leads, you can make money off of it, but the native lead forms are gonna be the worst quality of these other things. A landing page is a page that you make yourself. It's gonna be typically pretty similar to the lead form. You're gonna have a headline, you're gonna have a form where it's gonna ask like first name, last name, phone number, email, favorite color, what have you. And then taking it to the next step, my favorite things, I talk about this all the time, would be funnels. And there's really 3 main funnels that I suggest. The first one is gonna be the survey. These are gonna be in order of quality of the people you're talking to. So the first one's gonna be a survey lead. So this is going to take people, it's gonna still generate you leads. It's that you have to outbound call and set appointments with. The next 2 that I'm gonna talk about are actually gonna generate you inbound appointments where people are booking on your calendar without you having to do any outbound work. But with the survey funnel, it takes the landing page and the lead form and it takes it and it puts it on steroids. Because what it does is it asks people questions in order. So you have one page that says, what's your first name? They press submit or next, takes them to the next page. And what you want to do with this is you want to ask like first name, last name, then you want to start asking some qualifying questions. So what state are you in? What's your zip code? Any questions that are going to help you deliver a better experience once you actually get them on the phone. And then the last thing that you want to talk about with the survey funnel is phone number and email. Because at that point, they will have already gone through each questions, what are called micro commitments, and that's going to get them more invested in actually putting their email and phone number into it, and it gets better conversions. And through that entire process, they have a little bit more invested because there's been more time to go through that process. So the survey lead is going to get you the highest quality, or the survey funnel, the multi-step form is going to get you the highest quality of typical type leads that you would still need to call out on. The next place, and these 2 are basically the same, so webinar and VSL, these are, a VSL stands for video sales letter. It's a short 10 to 15 minute video, and a webinar is a longer form, like hour-long video, which will take, typically if you've ever done a seminar, online is just online version of that would be a webinar. That's why they're a little bit longer. And the difference between a VSL and a webinar in terms of the content specifically, a VSL is more based on sales. You're really talking about emotion, the pain points they have, the problems you can solve, but you're not educating. Webinar takes that to the next step and you're fully educating, and because you're the one that educated the person on the topic, they know you're the authority and they're naturally gonna wanna work with you. So with that, we turn that into a funnel. And for those of you, I've been talking about this, but if you don't know what a funnel is just a series of landing pages. And the reason that we use funnels is because when you think of a typical website, you have a menu up here, you have an about button, you have a blog, you might have a thing that sends them to a YouTube channel. They have so many places they can go. So when you're using paid traffic, we don't want to send them there because they're going to get distracted. We want to send them to a very specific place that's going to walk them through, and that's where a landing page is the first place, but a funnel does it in a sequence. So for the webinar and the VSL funnel, what it does is it takes them to an initial landing page where it's like, hey, register for the webinar or opt in to see, for your access to the VSL. Then from there, it's going to take them to the next page, which actually has the webinar or the VSL on it. They're going to watch that. They're going to get educated, or they're going to get interested because you're basically selling them on booking an appointment with you. From there, it's going to take them to the next page where it's going to be your calendar, where they can actually book with you. And that's where you get inbound booked appointments that you didn't have to call on because you have a video working for you 24/7, 365. And then from there, sometimes I will ask a few questions, qualifying questions, and then a thank you page. So that's all I'm going to spend time on today for a place to send traffic. Josh talked a lot about it. I have a ton of YouTube videos that go more into depth with that. It gets to be a little bit in the weeds going over that. So just so you guys know, when you're doing YouTube ads, you have to capture people's attention and you have to do something with the traffic. All right, how to script a high converting video YouTube ad. So step number one is research. So this comes back to that 80% of where results come from. You have to understand your customer so well. So you have to understand the customer, the niche, the market, and you really have to understand everything about your avatar. And what an avatar is just a fancy word for having a representation of who your client is. And there's a company called Agora Financial that does $1.5 billion, and they sell financial newsletters to people. And their avatar is a little doll named Grandpa Kurt, because that is who they're selling to over and over again. And they know, what is Grandpa Kurt thinking when he wakes up at 3 a.m. and can't sleep? What is Grandpa Kurt thinking when he goes to the country club and he's wondering about what people are going to think about his status? They know every single thing that goes through his mind, and that is the level you guys need to take to the research of your customers when it comes to advertising, because if you don't fully understand your customers, your words and your messaging and everything won't speak to them, and your competitors will out-advertise you. So research is extremely important. The next thing you can do, research on your customer is extremely important. And that's a lifelong thing, right? You guys every single day are meeting with people. Instead of just focusing on selling, which you should do, but at the same time, you should start to understand every little thing about your customers. What are their pain points? Why did they come to you? Why did they reach out in the first place? Just throughout your daily lives, doing your job, start taking notes over and over again to really fully understand your customer. And a lot of you are probably already doing that, and it will serve you well when you get into paid ads. Then you can also analyze current trends to see how you can utilize them in your ads. For example, the stock market's tanking right now, so I'm sure Tracy in the back is going to use that for all of his annuity ads. That stuff is good to use because it really grabs a lot of attention because people are always paying attention to what's going on right now. And then also try to figure out a way to relate what's happening in current events some way to Medicare. All right, the next thing is step number 2, how to spy on your competitors. So learn how to grab video ID URLs. Can somebody click on that and play that? I've got a little tutorial video I shot for you guys. Does anybody have the ability to do that? Can you click on that YouTube video?
Okay, here's a short video on how to get the video ad URL ad.
All right, we got to start it over because we're missing the good part.
Okay, here's a short video on how to get the video ad URL IDs when you see them come up in your feed.
Question: if you're an insurance agent, how do you start making $200,000 or $1 million or more per year? Well, it's definitely not by working.
Okay, so this was perfect. This was actually my ad. I did not plan that, but I love that. So how do you grab the video ID? So you're gonna go right here and you're gonna copy that. And then whenever you're in a YouTube browser already, it's got this URL right up here. And this is the current ID of the video that you're on. You want to switch that for the ID that you just found. And then you're going to press enter.
Question: if you're an insurance agent, how do you start making $200,000?
And it's going to take you to the actual ad right there. And then from there, what you can do is you can save that so you can use it for your own ideas. Or to take it a step farther, you can go find the channel that it's running from. And sometimes they may have the videos unlisted. I do not have mine unlisted, and you guys should not have yours. They may have theirs public. Sorry, I do not have mine public. I have all of mine unlisted, so you can't see them unless you do what I just showed you. But some people will, and then you'll find a gold mine. because they weren't smart enough to make theirs unlisted, and then you can go see all of the ads they've ever created before. But there's that little hack for you. That way you guys can take the video, the ad that you see right there, you can find the URL, you can save it, come back to it, use it for inspiration for your own ads.
Let's go. That was part of the presentation, the butt exercises. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but when you have YouTube ads, you can place them on your competitors' YouTube videos. So you can place them pretty much anywhere you want, and I'll get into that here in a little bit. But that's how you spy on your competitors' ads. It's a lot harder with YouTube ads than it is with Facebook. With Facebook, for any of you guys that have ran Facebook, you could just go to Facebook ad library, just type in a keyword and start looking at ads. With YouTube, it's a lot harder. You have to do what I just showed you. And I can share this presentation so you guys can see this. I've got some links and stuff so you can click on. But really, oops, I want to go back. Yeah, so really the key to finding good inspiration for ideas is to just go see what's working right now. And so, all right, so that's how you find the video ID URLs. The more views that you see on a video, the more likely that it's doing better. And then the next step in potentially getting in order to spy on your competitors, is to get targeted by your competitors. And right now, in today's day and age, there's not a ton of insurance agents that are running YouTube ads, but that will grow, that will continue. So these things are going to start being really good tips and tricks as people do more YouTube ads, do more paid ads. But right now, so I'll just go through the tips and then I'll give you my hint here at the bottom. So first thing you want to do is make sure that you don't have an ad blocker on, because if you have an ad blocker on, you can't see ads and you can't get inspiration. Also, if you have ad blocker on, I can't target you guys with my ads, so make sure that it's turned off. The next thing is to increase your chances of getting targeted, watch their videos, like go through YouTube and watch their videos. You want to watch all their YouTube videos. You want to sign up for their email list. This is another good key for you guys. If you don't have an email list, one, it's extremely profitable, so I would start building it. But two, if you're thinking about what emails do I send on my email list, go find somebody that has an email list, preferably in the industry, see what emails they're sending out, and that'll give you inspiration. And then if you visit their website, then the Google remarketing tag or pixel will pixel you and it will send you their ads. Now, here's what I was saying, is that there's not a ton of people in the insurance industry doing this right now. So what I suggest doing is going and find good internet marketers that are doing this, watch their videos, go to their website, get on their email list, and that's going to give you a ton of inspiration. All you need to do is then translate it to insurance, which you guys know that pretty well, so it should be pretty easy. All right, so here's how you script your high converting video ad. This is the sequence. So first thing is a hook, then a qualification, then you want to present the offer, then a call to action 1, then social proof, and then call to action 2. So first thing is, what is a hook? Well, a hook is the attention grabbing first 5 seconds of the video, and it is a pattern interrupt. So people are scrolling, they're watching cat videos, they're watching boating videos, they're watching whatever it may be. You have to get their attention. Otherwise, they're going to skip you. And right, the first reaction they have is to skip, and we want to be able to convince people to not do that. Next, qualification. So with YouTube ads, if they watch the first 30 seconds of the video, you pay. If they don't watch the first 30 seconds of the video, you don't pay. So we don't want anybody going through past 30 seconds that is not an ideal customer. And so we want to use the first 30 seconds in order to either say something along the lines of skip this video if you're not interested. So if you're not turning 65, skip this video now because it's not going to make sense to you. Or the other way you can do it is that you can say something extremely direct by making it very clear your video is about that person. So for my ad that's ran for a really long time, it says something along the lines of if you're an insurance agent or financial advisor, you're not using funnels, Facebook ads, and YouTube ads. It's like living in the 1930s and deciding that your number one form of transportation is a horse. And so I say that to capture people's attention, but I also say that because if you're not an insurance agent or financial advisor, you're going to not care and you're going to skip my ad and I don't have to pay for it. So what you say in the first 30 seconds are extremely important to the profitability of your ads. The next part is going to be your offer and benefit. So your offer is what they get if they click on the ad and then take the action that you want them to take on the next page, the landing page. And your benefit is going to be the end benefit they get. So they get a quote and then they have peace of mind, or they're going to have a full understanding of Medicare and a person that they trust to work with. And then, it could be a free video training that's delivered in a webinar format. It could be a free quote to see what the rates they would qualify for. That's like what they're getting. That's how you describe like what they're going to be getting on the next page. And then you want to let them know exactly what they get when they click through. And then you want to give them the benefit and what's in it for them, why they should do it. Because people don't do things. Again, we talked about influence, right? If you want to influence traffic to do something, you have to talk about what's in it for them, what they're going to benefit from actually clicking on your ad, putting their information in your landing page, and continuing down the process. And it needs to be good. So really, as you're going through it, think about, would you actually care about this? And if not, you need to reframe it. The number one rule of copywriting and marketing is never be boring. Call to action. All right, so this is where you tell them to click on your ad and actually take an action. So you need to tell them where to click and tell them what action that they need to take on the next page. And the CTAs, the call to action, the buttons that are actually on the YouTube ads, they differ depending on if you're on mobile or desktop. So I'll usually be something like click above for mobile or down below for desktop to go to the landing page where I'm going to teach you how to run Facebook ads for your business. Whatever it is, obviously for you guys, you're going to say, click below on mobile, over here on desktop to learn everything you need to know about Medicare because you're turning 65, and we're gonna make the process extremely easy. And I suggest at least having 2 call to actions. You really want one in the middle of the ad and one at the end of the ad. And then we're gonna do social proof. So there's really 2 types of social proof. We always try to add social proof into YouTube ads. This can be done. The first type is you can splice up 3 to 5 second testimonials or reviews, or share a picture of a review that's on your website, whatever it may be. And you can transition to social proof with a sentence like, here's what some of our clients have had to say. And then this can also just be a story, and it can just be a quick one of you telling somebody's experience. So in one of my ads, my best client ever, his name is Michael. He didn't have a Facebook profile before coming to me. He does annuities, but in his first month of working with us, he did I think it was like $58,000 first year commission. And he's in his 60s, upper 60s, no experience with Facebook ads. So in one of my ads, I just, in a little bit more exciting way than I just did, I tell that story really quickly. And that creates the social proof without me having to show a video of him, because sometimes you telling the story is more powerful than interrupting the narrative to play another video. So stories can be a really good way. That's the first form of social proof. The second form is implied social proof. So anything you can do to have people feel that you have authority is implied social proof. So you speaking at an event in front of an audience, that will demonstrate your authority. You actually with a client. You showing, if you have YouTube videos on YouTube, even showing the fact that you have a YouTube video talking about this topic can be implied social proof because somebody that's not serious about their business is not going to be going out and making videos about this type of stuff. Point is, for this implied social proof, whatever you can use to imply that you're good at what you do. All right, so that was the first framework. An optional second framework is the exact same thing, except you add education right after the qualification. And is this necessary? So many of our clients' best ads, many of ours and our clients' best ads, we don't have any education in them. It's purely focused on getting the viewer engaged and committed to the next step, and then delivering them into the funnel where they're going to receive massive value because it's going to be a webinar explaining everything that they need to know. But there have been a lot of people in the industry. I know Christian has done some ads with education. I know Justin Brock's done some ads with education. So they definitely work. But what I would suggest is if you're just starting out, don't include it and then test it later. Now, for retargeting ads, it actually is a pretty good strategy because once people start to know who you are, the more you can demonstrate authority and educate people further, it's going to get them to want to work with you. So once you get people in your environment, you can retarget them, and that's a good strategy for retargeting. Now, one note on educating people, especially in the ad. I'm not talking about in the webinar. In the webinar, you want to actually do a good job of educating them. But in the ad, We do not want to resolve the pain. So any education that you do, it should actually amplify pain even more, and it should cause more pain. So it should actually cause confusion to get them to have pain and then go into the webinar where the confusion will be alleviated. All right, long versus short video ads. I get this question all the time. How long should an ad be? So we usually aim for 45 seconds to a minute and 30 or 90 seconds. We have seen longer ads do well, but those are more the education ones. We rarely see any ads above 5 minutes do well. But at the end of the day, the length should be however long it needs to be to get your key points of your pitch across. And don't put anything else in there just to fluff it up to get extra length, just because people won't appreciate that. Everything that you should say with copywriting and marketing and advertising, every single sentence, the goal of the sentence should either be to get somebody to click or to read the next sentence. Should never be any fluff. And then avoid this caveat. So I see some agents send me some ads and they're like 5 seconds. It's because they're uncomfortable on video and they just try to shove everything in like 5 seconds. Don't do that. Actually put a little bit of substance into the ad. All right, so how do you film your YouTube ads? For most people that are starting out, I highly suggest just an iPhone, and that is good enough quality, and typically an iPhone is going to get you better conversions than high production value. A lot of people think that they need to hire a videographer, an editing team, that it needs to be like a TV commercial. No, that's not the case. That typically converts worse than just an iPhone video that's either sitting on a tripod or you holding it yourself. So I'd highly suggest starting there. Almost everybody should be able to do that. So there really should be no tech objections into any of you getting started with this, because most people in 2022 have a pretty decent phone camera, and the audio is going to be pretty good from the phone camera as well too. It doesn't have to be an iPhone, it can be an Android for anybody that does that as well too. If you want to take that, I know Tracy's got a pretty insane Android phone back there. Let's go. So if you want to take your phone recording to the next level, the next place to put a little bit of money into would be audio. So still record with your phone, but get like a lav mic like this. You can get a decent one for like 25. You can get a good one for like $100. Or if you are sitting in an office, you can get a Blue Yeti mic. But that's really where I suggest most people start. Now, some of you may have ran some ads before. Some of you may have large budgets, and you're just like, I want to go straight to a little bit higher production and just yeah. So for that, I would suggest the Canon 80D. I had that camera for 4 years. I loved it. They have a newer version called the 90D now. So that'd be a DSLR. You can put a Rode video mic, and if you want to take it to the next level, you can get the Pro version, put that on the top, and record that way. Blue Yeti is a good desk mic. It's $100. Ring light. So you want some good lighting when you're doing this. Lighting is important. If it looks like you're in a dark room or you're hiding in your closet, that's probably not going to deliver the right message to the people you're trying to capture the attention of. So lighting is really important. Honestly, audio and lighting are way more important than anything when it comes to video. Most people think it's the camera. It's lighting for image and then quality audio. If you have bad audio, people will bounce way faster than poor video. So pay attention to that. All right, so a ring light, or you can get these camera lights that are like up in the top. Each of them are like $50. You don't have to get both, just pick one or the other. That's all you need, honestly. And then probably some editing software would be good. Camtasia, it's like $300 for lifetime, or Premiere Pro, which is like $50 a month, or Final Cut Pro. I don't use Final Cut, I don't know how much it is. Or for those of you that don't want to edit, because editing is a pain in the butt, you can hire somebody on Fiverr, and honestly, you could probably get an editor for the type of ads and stuff that you'll be doing for like $5 to $10 per video, because the edits that you need is just cutting stuff out. Nobody's doing any fancy stuff. There's no color correction. There's nothing like that. So for most people, honestly, it's probably just easier to outsource. I outsource a lot of stuff. I use Fiverr all the time. It's a really good tool for any of you that are not using that. All right, so how do you know if your YouTube ads suck? So your CTR is your click-through rate. So meaning that the people that have seen your ad and watched a certain amount, I think it might be that 30 seconds, how many of them click? If you're under 1%, meaning that 1 out of 100 clicks, then if you're under that, your ad sucks and you need to rework your script. If you're right at that, I'd probably still come up with new ads to get better. 2 to 3% is good. And then above 3% is great. If you have above 3%, your ad is going to crush it, and it'll work for a really long time. I had some that were at 3%, and they ran for almost 2 years without me having to make a new ad whatsoever. So it pays to really put a lot of effort into this, because if you knock it out of the park, you just set it and forget it and let it run for 2 years. All right, so this is a new thing. This is a little bit into the weeds, but YouTube ads came out with a new thing where everything needs to be what's called responsive ads. So prior to having this change, you could either select if you wanted videos to show up as a video, which is what most people are probably used to. When you're watching a video, an ad pops up. The other place that you can run ads is on the side, and it'll be like a promoted video. Now with responsive ads, you can't choose where it shows up anymore. YouTube figures out what's best for you and what's going to work the best. So because of that, we need to be putting thumbnails on all of the videos, because they will show up on the side. And if you don't have a good thumbnail, you're not going to get a good click-through rate, and your performance is going to be worse. So some keys to thumbnails is you want to create a unique thumbnail for each hook or angle. And you want to have a maximum of 7 to 8 words on the thumbnail. If you can deliver a message in less than that, even better. Words on the thumbnail should represent what's in the first 15 to 30 seconds of the video. All right, so last thing is send your ads to the right people. And this is where we get into the reason why I love YouTube ads. So YouTube ads is the only platform that combines interest and intent-based targeting. So with YouTube ads, you can target people based on who they are, right? You can target them based on their characteristics, what types of activities they just do, like who they actually are. But you can also target them based on intent, meaning what they're searching for on YouTube. And you can target people on YouTube based on what they were searching for on Google, because they're owned by Google. So what it does is it combines search and interruption traffic as well too. So search traffic has been around for a really long time. The phone book is a great example of this, of search traffic. People need something done, they need a job done, they go and search for it. Interruption is where people are going throughout their daily lives. You interrupt them, and then you basically enlighten them to the fact that they have a problem that they maybe didn't even realize that they had was a problem. They're both great. Search gives you higher intent people, but there's less volume with search. There's less people searching, so you can't scale it, and there's tons of competition. If any of you have ever tried to run Google Ads, there's tons of competition. It's really expensive per click because you're only going after people that are searching, and there's limited amounts of people. With interruption, such as YouTube ads, Facebook, TV commercials, people are going out and doing their daily lives, and you interrupt them. With YouTube, you can combine both, and you can combine the interest versus intent. So to really give you an example, you got somebody that is interested in figuring out Medicare. They're turning 65, so they're on Google. They're searching who's the best Medicare agent in my local area, whatever it may be. They either don't find a good result, or they get distracted, they get bored. A couple days later, they're on YouTube watching any random video. It doesn't have to be about Medicare, it could be about whatever. And your ad will pop up, and it will remind them, oh, hey, that's still a problem, and it'll bring them back into the cycle. So you can really target people that have very high buying intent, but you can hit them in so many more places than just the Google search area. And you can get much more of a message across with YouTube ads than you can with Google ads, because Google ads, just a few headlines and stuff like that. With YouTube, you can make a video and really convince them and sell them and demonstrate your authority. So first thing that you can do with targeting is geography, demographics, and devices. So you can target by gender, age, parents, whether they're parents or not parents, household income, all of that falls under demographics. You can also target up to country, down to the city, region, or even GPS coordinates. I don't know if anybody needs to do that, but you can. And then a radius around that. And then you can target devices, computer, mobile, tablet, and TV screens. We typically exclude TV screens because you can't click if an ad shows up on TV screens. So we like to exclude that. Here are the top options for targeting, pretty much all the options for targeting. For almost everybody in here, I'm confident to say for everybody in here, you don't have to do 6, 7, and 8 because you can scale. I would confidently say up to $5,000 to $10,000 per day on the ad targetings prior to that. So stick with these ones we're going to go over, and you guys can just ignore 6, 7, and 8. And for those of you that are marketing local and have a small population, even if you don't have a small population, the nice thing about Google is that you can run small audiences. If you've ever done anything with Facebook ads, they love really large audiences, so their pixels can decide who's the best and they get all that information. With Google, you can actually do small audiences and it works. But I would suggest if you're in a small area, one campaign you should try is not doing any other targeting besides just the area and the age. So just like, 25-mile radius, 64 years old. And then you can also do keywords later on if you want to. All right, so first thing is retargeting website visitors and YouTube viewers. So for any of you guys that have a website and it doesn't currently have the Facebook pixel or the Google remarketing pixel, your homework for today is to go on YouTube and either figure it out yourself or have your son or daughter or somebody in your office figure out how to put that on your website, because every single time you get people to that website, if they're not being tracked right now, you are wasting the potential to advertise to them later. So make sure that you have those pixeled or have the remarketing tag on there. All you have to do is go to YouTube and type in, how do I put a pixel on my website, or how do I put a Google remarketing tag on my website? If you guys have already done that, you'll have a large audience, depending on how much traffic you get, but you will have an audience that you can test that already knows who you are and your website or your YouTube videos. If you guys have a YouTube channel, you guys are going to be way ahead of the pack because you can retarget all of your YouTube viewers. Anybody watches any video, you can retarget them with ads. This is the best place to start any ad because they know who you are, and it's just low-hanging fruit. This is where you want to start. And just a key tip with this, you'll probably want to bid a little bit higher since these are typically smaller audiences compared to keywords that are in the hundreds of thousands or millions. So start with 25 cents for your bid and increase from there if needed. The minimum audience size for this is 1,000 people. So if you guys aren't there yet, at a bare minimum, get those pixels and remarketing tags on your website and start a YouTube channel because it's extremely beneficial to a business owner to have a YouTube channel. All right, keyword targeting. This is going to be our bread and butter. This along with being able to target people on Google, which I'll get into in a second. But keyword targeting is going to allow you to send ads to people that are searching on YouTube. And for those of you that don't know, YouTube is actually the second largest search engine. So it's Google, YouTube, and then Bing or Yahoo or whatever. But YouTube is actually the second largest. People are searching on there almost as much as they are searching on Google. And so what this allows you to do is target people that are searching on YouTube. And I can tell you that there are a lot of people searching for stuff with having to do with Medicare, having to do with annuities, having to do with life insurance, whatever it may be. And so when you go and you use a keyword targeting campaign, it's going to use YouTube's algorithm to go search all videos that have that keyword in the title, in the description, in the metadata, which is a fancy way to talk about what is being said in the video, all that information. And it will find that for you, and it will deliver your ad on any of those videos that come up in that section. So, Medicare Advantage, I don't know, I'll give you some hints for keyword research here in a second, but there's tons of options that people are probably searching right now. It's a very powerful targeting method because you are targeting people with intent. If they're searching, they're clearly interested. Otherwise, they wouldn't be searching, or they've got way too much time on their hands. High intent audiences that you can spend a lot on, and you can scale just a single keyword up to thousands of dollars per day. So this is really, like I said, it's the bread and butter. This is where you want to spend a lot of your time. There's different ways to brainstorm keywords. Keywordsearch.com, Keyword Planner, KeywordTool.io, YouTube autofill search bar. So if you go to YouTube and you type in Medicare, there's going to be a ton of other options that come up that have to do with Medicare. That's called the autofill search bar. That'll be a really good way to get, typically they're like the most relevant or the most searched terms that have to do with one of the things that you type in. And then YouTube actual titles. So you could go type in Medicare, you could type in new to Medicare, whatever somebody that, like, again, you have to understand your prospect. What are they going to be typing in? They're probably not going to be typing in T65 Medicare. That's not something they type, right? So you need to like get in their head and think what they're going to type, but then go and search it and see what YouTube videos are out there, what those titles are. That will give you some good keywords as well too. And then do one keyword per ad, per campaign, ad group, and ad. That way you can separate and see what's actually working. A lot of people will throw a ton of keywords in, and then there are ways that you can see what's working, but for simplicity, it's easier to just separate it this way. All right, placement targeting. So you can actually go and find individual videos. You can also, if YouTube says you can do for channels, don't do channels, it doesn't work. So just do videos. This is a great targeting method. So if you know somebody out there that's currently making videos that attract your audience, you can go find that specific video as long as they're monetized, and you can say, I want to run ads on this video. So that's placement targeting. And then there's a software called TubeSift. Once you really scale up with things, it's a decent software to look into, but definitely not needed when you're first starting out. But that will go and find people that are monetized and will give you ideas if you type in keywords and things like that. Custom intent audiences. So this is where you can target people that have been searching things on Google. So it's a great targeting option to people that have really high buying intent. Here's a really good tip. So if you start with a keyword campaign, which is what we were talking about earlier, which gets people that are searching on YouTube, once you have that working, duplicate it and start running it to a custom intent audience. And that'll find people that are also searching that keyword on Google, which is almost always guaranteed to work because, well, in my experience, it has. So, all right. And then the other thing you can do is take 300 to 500 keywords and put that into a custom intent audience. And that works really well for just in one fell swoop getting almost all of the Google searches that are happening within your niche. All right, similar audiences, and I think we are almost done here. So a similar audience, if any of you have ran Facebook ads, they have what's called lookalike audiences. Lookalike audiences work really, really well because it'll take somebody that has ever interacted with any of your ads. Facebook has tons of user data, and it will make a audience of 1 million people that are very, very similar to that. YouTube has something called similar audiences, which are supposed to be the same thing, but the problem is that Google doesn't have anywhere close to the same amount of data that Facebook has on its users because people typically don't make profiles. They're not putting in all of their information. They're not being tracked on everything they click on, all that stuff. And then also you could go to YouTube right now on any browser and you don't have to log in to use it. So because of that, it's just not quite as strong. So this would probably be the last place I would go for targeting if you still need scale. And these are actually automatically generated. So you can't go in and create one like you can in Facebook. What you can do is you could go in and make a specific audience. So say you go in and say, I want to target anybody that's watched my YouTube videos or anybody that's been to my website in the last 360 days. That's a custom audience. You make that. YouTube will automatically make a similar audience based on the custom audiences that you create. All right, perfect. So I know that's a lot. So any questions, you can always email me. We also have a ton of stuff on YouTube. I'm continuing to put out a ton of content. YouTube is so much easier for me to deliver this content because I can show you where to click. I can show you a lot of stuff. This really gives you the high level and at a bare minimum, hopefully shows you guys the power of what you can do when you get to YouTube. And the thing is, most people are not going to do it. So those of you that actually do it, you're going to stand out so much more from your competitors than most of the people that are not going to actually do this stuff. So with ads, you control your budget. So you basically tell YouTube whatever you want to spend. And so you could start at $10 a day, or you could be at $2,000 a day. You have full control over it. That's where I talked about having a system where you put $1 in, you get $5 back or $3 back. If you set things up properly and you know how much money you're making off of each lead, as long as you're making money off of whatever you're getting back, you'd want to just put more into it. So, I mean, I'd probably suggest starting with $100 a day, and then you do have to have some money to go to YouTube ads, but it's well worth it once you get there.
So, when we first started doing it, right?
Yeah.
It was like a 14-day period when we from start to finish, I did it in like 3 days, right? We had an ad up and running within 72 hours when we started. So I know a lot of
Right. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this is something that like 5% of people are going to do at this point, if even, maybe 1%. But there will come a day when the people that are doing this are making so much money, they're taking all of your clients that you guys will want to get into it. So I get into it sooner than later if I were you. If you go to their ads, if you click on their videos and an ad pops up, it means they're monetized. And they need to have, so in order to be monetized, you need to have at least 1,000 subscribers and you need to have 40 hours of watch time. You can't tell people have 40 hours of watch time, but you can tell how many subscribers they are when you go to their channel.
Got one question over here.
Yep.
So, does this use the same type of geofencing that Google Ads does?
This is Google Ads. YouTube Ads is Google Ads.
Okay, so they're...
Same platform. You just log into Google Ads and you just click YouTube instead.
Oh, good. Okay.
One last question.
Hey, I just want to say that this was absolutely incredible. So I don't have a question, but this was easily $15,000 worth of content. You see people come in.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I always come to these events and I don't know if people are going to appreciate what I talk about or if it's all going to go over their head. But at least it's recorded so you guys can watch it 100 times if you want.
All right, hang on. We got one last question over there, and that's it.
Yep, so the thumbnail is this design, right? If you don't have the design, like you're putting an actual picture there that you've designed, it's just gonna pick a random slot from your video. So usually it's like a pretty ugly face you're making as you're talking. And so that's why you wanna be intentional about it.
Excellent. Give him a big hand, folks.
Thank you all. Thank you.